3, 2, 1, and we are live. All right, man. We've been waiting for this day for some weeks now. Unfiltered Privilege coming to you with a controversial topic today.
Hey.
I'm excited.
Time to get in when we fit in, man.
All right, today's topic is gun control and our Second Amendment rights.
Oh, man.
You know, given all the hectic things that have been going on, the school shooting.
Excuse me. It's something, and like I told you, this is definitely something that really matters to me. You know
right.
what I mean? Like as a gun owner, man, and shit as an American, this really matters to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been in I sound like a fucking broken record, but it's insane, bro, what's happening out there, right? This sounds like every single one of our podcasts starts just like this. It's insane because we talked about it. We're almost being demonized. And hearing people say that they should take away our Second Amendment right, bro, that scares the life out of me. You know what I mean? Because I am Mexican, bro, 100% for sure. But I'm born and raised here in the United States, and I love this country, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Very grateful to be, in this country. So to see people trying to take away freedoms without having the proper education, it just really scares the life out of me, man. Because like I've said, time and time again, the wrong voices are the loudest voices.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd definitely love to hear your opinion too, because, I know we kind of go back and forth, devil's advocate type thing, but on this topic, I have no other side. I'm one way, 200%.
See, me on the flip side, I'm on this particular topic, I'm not one way. And you know me, man, some backstory. I used to not argue with you, but we used to have debates before I purchased my first firearm. I was telling you, like, man, I don't feel like, why would you need one? Like, it's an item, a material item that's built for destruction.
Right.
And so I used to be on the other side of the argument. But of course, thank you very much. You've walked me through the process and took me to the range, and I bought my first firearm, and I became more educated on I guess guns, the operation of a gun, and that is the key. And that's something I will say too, that it's really, really easy to demonize a gun and jump to because you're scared of it, man. You're literally scared of it. Even me, like when I bought my first gun, I brought it home and I was kind of scared to touch it, so but being around it and knowing how to take it apart and clean it and operate it puts you a little bit more at ease, and it gives you more perspective on. But
you were scared, sorry to interrupt, but I think you were scared because you'd never been educated.
Exactly.
And that's at the very foundation of it. That's it. It's lack of education, bro. That's everybody's so skeptical, because they're lacking education.
Yeah.
And growing up myself, bro, like I've said time and time, I grew up in Chicago, bro.
Yeah.
Where it has one of the strictest gun laws in the entire country, but one of the highest crime rates. And I grew up very much so with that being given to me is guns are scary, guns are dangerous. Yeah. So as soon as I was old enough, bro, I was 10 years old.
Reckless.
Look at a gun. Oh my God, I was fired up. Yes.
Yeah.
I've always been told this is dangerous, but because I've never been educated on it, I misused it. And that's why it's so misused in a lot of places. And it's just because people aren't educated on guns. And just like, your first experience, nobody goes through that. Nobody knows. And that's what blows my mind, is that the people who are talking the loudest aren't gun owners.
Yeah.
Have never purchased a gun. Yeah. Have never even thought of this. They just say, this is wrong. It's killing people. Guns are killing people. Guns are killing people. It's like, guns are killing people, bro, or people are killing people?
See, but here's my thing with that. Like I originally brought up, I do have a devil's advocate side to this, man, because I really think...
I'd love to hear it.
Because when we first started this podcast, notice how you said they're trying to take away our Second Amendment rights.
Right.
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think what they're trying to do, even though it's sloppy and drunk and uneducated jargon that they're spilling out, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to take away maybe some guns, but not all guns. And I think where they get very sloppy with is their ill education and, you know, not knowing the difference between an automatic, a semi-automatic, and that's where they get sloppy. And that's where gun owners like yourself, it's kind of like, well, I'm tired of you. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. Because you're going to end up taking all my guns because you don't know what the difference is.
But big bro, I've heard them say this. Like I've legitimately heard people say that they should take away our Second Amendment right. I've heard this from educated people. Mm-hmm. I've heard this, and like that's what scares the fuck out of me is that there's these people in politics, right? It always kind of spooks me, right? But there's those people high up, bro, who are just uneducated.
Yeah.
And it's fucking mind blowing. It's like, yo, if you've got to that point, you should be thoroughly educated on more than just our Bill of Rights. Shouldn't that be the foundation? You're representing the people of the United States. You're representing them. We're giving them the power, bro. They don't give us the power. And that's where this whole thing is getting fucked up. Is that us as the people, we think that the government gives us power when we give the government power.
Yeah.
I don't want to turn this into a whole, conspiracy.
Well, I mean, it's a valid thing, but the thing about it is, bro, you got to understand. Like, I think the government is already. It's like a snowball. Once it gets rolling, you know what I mean. It's kind of out of our. Even though we pushed it and we got it over the hill. Once it gets over the hill, which there's so many different people in there and different ideologies. It's kind of out of. It's not in our power anymore, man. It's become its own entity, I think. In a sense,
it really has. And that's what the Second Amendment is, bro. The Second Amendment, which a lot of people don't even know what it is, bro. It's the right to bear arms so we can protect ourselves from a tyrannical government.
Right.
This is what we escaped from at the very core of America. Mm-hmm. This is what we escaped from, a tyrannical government. We can't put our entire trust and everything into the government. And this is what's going wrong in this entire society. This is what's happening with male privilege. This is what's happening with race privilege. This is what's happening with everything, bro. It's becoming we are becoming so dependent on the government for direction. We're becoming so dependent on everything else to help us in our lives, which is the wrong way to look at it, bro. In your fucking life, you shouldn't be on the sidelines. You should be the number one fucking player. That should be you. And most people are like, no, well, let's just have the government make all of our choices. Let's just have the government protect us. What do you need guns for? The government will protect us. It's like, okay, but what's gonna happen when they're... Bro, statistically, I mean, think about it. There's got to be some fucked up people in there. Yes, there's going to be some great people, but there has to be some fucked up people in there. There has to be.
Especially people who are disposed to that type of power. Power corrupts, man. I get it. But
bro, absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
Two things to go along with what you said about protecting ourselves from tyranny. So, number one, I think it's you can definitely make the argument that when the Second Amendment was written, which I don't know the exact date, but we all know how to find the date, just Google the shit. But when it was written, I think the founding fathers did not have in mind, they didn't know that we would have these type of weapons that we have today.
1791.
1791, exactly, bro. There was no such thing as a semi-automatic back then. They had muskets. They had what do you call them when you stuff the rifle with gunpowder?
Yeah.
And shit takes like you can get out 2 rounds in maybe like a minute.
And that's always the argument.
Yeah, so that's number one. So they didn't know when that was written. Actually, there's 3 things. So number one is that. Number 2 is when you say it's for the people to protect themselves from a tyrannical government, bro. You can have an AR-15, you can have an AK-47, you can have a 50 caliber rifle. If the government wanted to cause tyranny and take over, and we were in a military state, there's nothing that you can do about it. They have tanks, bro. Like, they have tanks. What are you gonna do? Just shoot at a fucking blackbird coming to you?
So just give up? Just give up all your rights as an American?
I'm not saying...
Just become Russia?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what...
Yeah.
That's our other option, bro?
I'm not saying give up.
Real... real, I think it was Emiliano Zapata who said, I'd rather fucking live on my feet or fucking die on my feet than live on my fucking knees.
So
bro.
Go out with guns blazing.
Absolutely, bro. Nobody's gonna take my motherfucking, me or my family.
I understand.
And I hate to sound like some fucking crazy nut, right? Like, and that's always how we're perceived, right? As gun owners, like, oh, you own more than 2 guns? Oh my God, you're a fucking nut. You're a gun nut. It's like you make it seem like it's a bad thing. Like, no, we're just real red-blooded Americans that love our rights, man. That love our rights and love our freedoms, bro. And that's all it is. And we'll protect those to the very end.
I get that, bro. I get that, but I just think the amount of times that argument is used, because that's whenever gun control comes up in the media, or whether it's Obama or Trump talking about it, or Shapiro or anybody that's, especially coming from the right wing, that's always the number one, if not number 2 topic that they bring up. Right. It's to protect yourselves from a tyrannical government. But I understand what you're saying, and I feel the same way. If I'm going out, I'd rather go out with, trying, at least. I get that. But
even more bare bones, bro. It's not about, and I'm not saying that we're living in a tyranny, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that it could happen. We've seen it happen in history, and history repeats itself. You know what I mean? Like, we're almost, we peaked and shit's getting a little rough, but even more bare bones than that, bro. It's about protecting yourself and your family.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. We'll get there, but I'm saying, like, even throughout history, like, history is history. Technology does not progress going the further back in history you go. It digresses. So, like, now, in history, if you were armed, you were able to actually stand a chance against a tyrannical government because the playing field was so level. But we've already allocated so many of our tax dollars towards, different research, and we know what the military budget is in America. It's ridiculous, man. Their armory and the arms that they have, there's no way, bro. If other countries can barely stand a chance against our militia, what makes you think that we as citizens are going to stand a chance against that with our fucking little AR-15 with a bump stock or foot? But I get it. I understand it. But I just think that because of that reason alone, I don't think that's an argument that gun lovers, proud Americans like yourself should use. You know what I mean?
Of course, man. But the thing is, what are you just gonna give up? You know what I'm saying? Like that, and that's my whole argument is that, bro. Like, if it comes down to that, are you be willing just to give up and live in this tyranny and have your family live in God knows what conditions, in the conditions that whoever it is proposes, right? The simple fact, in these are facts, bro. In Pearl Harbor, Japan didn't invade by land because they knew that citizens would stand up. They weren't scared of the military. They were scared of the citizens standing up. Bro, it's a fuck ton of us. Yeah. Believe it or not, it's a ton of us. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds righteous as fuck, right? But you got to stand up for you and what you believe in, and what I believe in, man, and what I was always taught. Even being raised, Mexican American, I was always taught, this is America, man. We are grateful for this country. Yeah, this is a better life. God knows what kind of life we would be in if my parents were still in Mexico. If my grandma would have just stayed in fucking Mexico.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, is that where we want to live? Do we want to live in places like Canada where there's no free speech? Because as soon as they take away one right, bro, it's gonna be a domino effect. Slippery slope. And this is why it gets me so hot. I just kind of realized right now that I'm getting really, really hot because it's a domino effect. Yeah. As soon as you take away one right, as soon as the people are unarmed, look at what people always bring up. Look at Australia. But they're like, do you really know the facts of Australia? It's a different gun violence went up when they when they made this mandatory gun law go, the
mandatory buyback.
Yes.
See, but that's another thing. I don't really know what statistics to trust, man, because I hear both in favor and not in favor. And
fuck statistics. Think about just reality. How long? I had a gun when I was 10 years old. I wasn't a gun owner. I wasn't even old enough to have a gun.
Yeah,
bro. Criminals are gonna get guns one way or the other. People have been smoking weed way before it was legalized.
Yeah,
right. There's been murders way before this has been publicized.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like Look at prohibition. As soon as prohibition started, boom, the mafia got huge, became millionaires. Because of prohibition.
Yeah.
This black market shit is never going to stop. And the simple fact that these stupid motherfuckers, and excuse my language, because that's unfortunately, a lot of uneducated Americans think that it'd be smart to take away the guns of rightful gun owners.
See, but with that though, Gilbert, like there's no statistics on that, bro. There's no. I mean, I know you just.
Absolutely.
I know you just cited Australia, but that's the first time I've heard those statistics sway that way.
But how come statistics are never shown about defensive? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's just the media. But before we get into all of that, so I just want to be clear that if the government literally were to name specifically certain rifles, like if it's the AR-15, the AK, and now you can't get an M16, can you?
No.
You can't.
You could. I mean, you could assemble one. I'm sure you could buy one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say they literally by name outlawed these specific weapons, and and let you keep other semi-automatic pistols. You would consider that as the whole swoop? They're taking away all of our guns.
I would look at it like, why are you trying to restrict my freedoms? Why are you infringing on my rights? Period, bro. It's called the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Needs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what everybody always says. Why do you need that?
See, but that's the thing, bro.
It's the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of fucking Needs.
There's a way you can look at it, man. There's the Bill of Rights. Yeah, this is by law, but then don't you think sometimes we have to look at as a society like what's best? And me, I own a gun, bro. I'm with you. Like I feel that pull of like, oh no, this is my shit. Somebody's coming in.
What's
click,
to stop them? Okay, we can do that. Let's put a restriction on this. But what's to stop them from saying African American males are extremely violent? We got to start eliminating or euthanizing 1 out of 6 because statistically we've known that they kill people too.
See, but that to me, that's a
slippery slope. To me, is all I'm saying,
but here, like to me, that's the same stretch as saying that like if we take away guns, gun violence is going to get a lot worse. I'm like, I've never heard any statistic of that.
Bro, it's a slippery slope. And the simple fact is, if you take away what the media says, you take away what gun owners say, criminals are always going to be criminals. Take my guns, a criminal's still going to come into my house. What the fuck am I going to do? Just let them take my girl, let them kill me, you know what I'm saying? Let them kill me, let them kill my kids. You know what I'm saying? What's to stop that? Like if you take away anything, bro, you know what I'm saying? And you know it more than the uneducated Americans that don't have guns.
Yeah.
What are we gonna have? Single action, you know what I'm saying? Bolt action rifles.
I gotta
if
tell
an
that.
intruder comes in, come on, bro.
I gotta tell that story too, man. I gotta tell that story too. But yeah, man. I don't think they're necessarily trying to take away all guns. And this is what I want to ask you. It's a philosophical question. So let's say God came down and there was some way that he said, okay, if you guys outlaw guns, I will make guns no more in the United States. But you would have to and literally, if there was a way that you can ensure that every single person turned in their gun, criminals and all, would you want to give it up? Would you be willing to give it up? And the answer is, me as a gun owner, I'm not gonna lie, it'd be no, because I think my gun is super fucking cool. Like I love shooting it. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's like, it's like, when you say taking away a rightful gun owner thing, like, because you own a gun, you would never do anything crazy, but it's like, why should I not be allowed to do something that is not going to bring harm to somebody in the future? I understand that.
I mean, philosophically.
So would you be willing to, if they can ensure that every single gun got turned in, even criminals couldn't have guns, if there was a tracker on every gun, would you be willing to give it back?
I don't know, man.
See?
I don't know, man, because the founding fathers, they had, they know history repeats itself, man. You know what I mean? Genghis Khan wouldn't have took the entire steppe, you know what I mean? Like the entire China, they wouldn't have took all of Asia. if people were there to protect themselves.
Bro,
I mean, it's been, bro. These are.
But if Genghis Khan had fucking, it'd be
Tommy
even
gun.
worse. Yeah, bro. You know what? Do you know what the Mongols would have done?
You're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
But the simple fact is, man, is we're in America, bro. But this is America.
America.
Everything. I you know, like I hate to sound like that, bro, but this is real, bro. This is an incredible freedom of speech. The simple fact that I can say. That people can say fuck whatever they want, fuck it, and have any opinion, bro, without being monitored, without being shut down. The simple fact that we can do this, bro, we can't do this in any other country.
Try this in North
Korea. We would
Korea.
be shot in the back of the fucking head, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, bye, you're done. Fuck that, you don't care. You know, like it's we're in America, bro, and maybe I just had some incredible history teachers coming up, but I'm absolutely proud to be here, and there is a reason why. We have the Constitution. There's a reason why we have the Bill of Rights. There's a reason. And it's to protect ourselves, man. We are our militia. You are militia. I am militia. It's to protect ourselves in case of anything, bro. Because we the people.
See, I agree with that. And I think
to read the Constitution, but you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we the people are who are in power, man. And unfortunately, it's starting to tilt, but because we're letting it tilt, and we're focusing on the wrong thing, bro.
I think
guns don't kill people, bro. I have numerous guns. They haven't killed me yet,
bro. But I understand that.
I never catch them running around while I'm sleeping. I never.
So here's my thing though. Why, if that's the case, I saw a really good quote. I think it was Ozzy Osbourne that said it.
Wow.
Wow, right? It said, okay, if guns don't kill people when we go to war, why don't we just send the people and leave the guns at home?
Well, because unfortunately, violence begets violence. You know what I'm saying?
But that to me that immediately, because I get it, bro. I'm a gun owner. I understand
if
that.
Guns kill people, bro. They would just send the guns. Then let's just send the guns to do the war, and then they would just be throwing guns at each other, and the guns would be fighting. Bro, it's a person, right? And when it comes to protecting our soil, to protecting our citizens, bro, yes, of course. It's war. It's dirty. People die. This has been history since the beginning of fucking time.
Yeah,
right?
bro, but I don't think that's a good argument as well, man, because I don't see how people. It seems to me like a lot of gun owners, loving gun owners, like to avoid or dance around, I guess what everybody knows to be kind of, if you come up with an AR-15 and I have a semi-automatic pistol, who's more likely to come out victorious?
Who's the better shot?
Nah, bro.
Come on, bro. Who's the better shot? Real shit.
Okay, let's say you have an
because
AR.
the Navy SEAL will kill you with a knife if you got that semi-automatic pistol.
A highly trained Navy SEAL. But if you take that away and you have two base citizens, same training, which is not very much training at all, you give one a pistol and you give one an AR-15 with a bump stock. You know what I mean? Full magazine.
Who has that?
Look, full magazine, 40 rounds. You know, who's more likely to come out victorious? I think at least, bro, we need to get down to at least be a little bit more honest about that.
Okay, then let's be a little more honest than that. How many legal gun owners are out there committing crimes?
Oh, not.
That's the fucking argument.
It's a vast minority. You're putting us in all the. You're putting us in these scenarios, and it's like we're the ones just out there shooting targets, hunting. Yeah,
like, we're not out there fucking committing crimes, shooting schools up. That's the fucking problem, bro.
Well, let me say this too: for there to be more guns than there are human beings in the United States, gun violence, I'm pretty sure, is relatively low.
Absolutely.
As to what it should be.
Bro, we're 31st for gun violence in the entire world. 31st. And they're making it seem like we're, oh my god, gun violence is so bad. In school shootings too, we're low, bro. We're low in these statistics. It's insane to me that that's what's happening. Gun owners are being demonized because of stupid, mentally ill, sick, fucked up, evil people.
Right.
And they're saying, let's take away the guns from the legal gun owners, and they keep putting all the legal and respectable gun owners in responsible gun owners in this fucking bucket with all these shit fucks. Mm-hmm. That's the problem, bro. That's the problem, and everybody seems to avoid that. Everybody seems to avoid that. You know what I'm saying?
So let me. I think Steven Crowder had this statistic. I'm pretty sure the amount of deaths that are to attribute to guns in the United States per year, I think is 30,000 deaths. 15,000 of those. Well, it really, ideally, it's 15,000 because half of it accounts for suicide. So what if I were to tell you that, or what if I were to ask you that if you outlaw and ban guns, that suicide rate of 15,000 would drastically decrease? Nah. You still not with that?
Man. I think because if somebody's going to kill themselves, the gun is the fastest. I mean, it's a cowardly thing to do, but the gun is the fastest way to do it, of course.
That's why. That's what I mean.
I've known people who killed themselves with razor blades, pills, hanging themselves. You know what I'm saying?
It's harder to do, though. But aside from that,
if you want to kill yourself, you are going to kill yourself.
But aside from that, I think you can't deny the fact that if people did not have access to a pistol, if they had a pistol, you have to admit, bro, there probably is a margin of people that to where if they had a pistol, they would carry out killing themselves. But if they didn't have access to it and they had to slit their wrist, they might think about it a little bit more.
But if they were,
I'm not saying all.
If they were really committed and really about it, they would. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but there's people, bro. You have to admit that there's people that have. Of course. That's what I mean. So those people would be saved.
Man, and that's hard to say, right? Because who are we, right? We're not some fortune tellers. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
But yes, maybe there needs to be more, mental and psychiatric evaluations before, right? Like, if people have some sort of psych record, right, it needs to be addressed. Yes, bro. There's a lot of like mentally ill people, but there's a lot of again, man. There's even more responsible, legal gun owners. Look at Ted Nugent, bro. Look, he has armory.
Yeah,
that dude's not killed one person. He's not committed one crime. And like these are the problems: is that rightful gun owners are being put into this category of, these bad people, criminals, and again, we're being demonized.
But see, here's
the problem.
Here's the thing, though, too, bro. When you get down to like the depth of human psychology,
let me say, bro.
I like that term. But when you get down to the darkest crevices in human psychology, we don't wake up the same people. A good person one period in their life may turn out fucked up. How many times have you seen somebody, and I think they said this on Rogan's podcast, how many times have you seen somebody that you knew in high school or 10 years ago, and you knew them as being like, oh, that's a good person, and you see them 10 years later and they're fucked up. They're a completely different person, whether they've submitted fully to the drugs or they've just let themselves go and they have a different mindset. Like, how many times have you seen that happen to good, sane people? So I think a lot of it is not because when people say, when they're trying to take it away from the righteous gun owners, it's with the assumption that righteous gun owners are going to remain that way for the rest of their life, which I don't necessarily think it could be the case, or at least not enough to make that statement. Because I'm like Stephen Paddock. I'm pretty sure if you put him through any psych test, and for Stephen Paddock is a Las Vegas shooter.
Well, he was on anti-anxiety medication. He was.
He was.
Yeah, he was on like psych drugs, bro. All of these shooters were on antidepressants.
Yeah.
They were all, so their chemicals in their brains were fucked up.
Yeah.
And that, this is gonna be another podcast for sure, bro. But that's another big problem too. Over medicating.
Yeah.
Over medicating our society. They're making zombies, and that's why there's less empathy. With all these pills, bro, these antidepressants, and it takes away your empathy.
Yeah, they're disassociative.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens. And that in itself, bro, is something that's wrong with society as well, bro. But you can't. It's racist. It's prejudice, right? It's like saying all black people are bad.
Yeah.
All Mexican people are bad. It's like saying that. We should just. Because one black person is bad, we should just kill all black people. Because one Mexican's bad, we should just kill all Mexicans. Because one white person's bad, we should just kill all white people.
Because one white person shoots up a school.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because that's what it is, man. Like, oh my God. Now one person misused the gun. Let's, you know, a couple
get them all.
And of course, man, there's tragedies all around the world, man. And I pray for them. I pray for those people, and I pray for those parents. And it's horrible, bro. It's horrendous, and it does scare me.
Yeah,
it does scare me. But, and I hate to sound like this stereotype, but the only thing that stops a bad person with a gun is a good person with a gun. And the
whether it be a cop or
exactly. People say like, oh, but that's not right. And it's like, yeah, but when you're in trouble, who do you call?
Yeah,
you call a good guy with a gun.
And it's not like the cops go through some crazy extensive training. They go to the range, they shoot, they sharpen their skills. But fuck, I can outrun a cop easy.
And that's what I think I was talking to somebody. I'm like, that's crazy to me that, you know, that there's heavy cops. I'm like, I thought that they had to go through some rigorous.
Bro, there's no, I guarantee you, like, unless you're a cop that's actually does cardio the way that I do, there's no way you can catch me. There's literally, you may shoot me from maybe 50 yards away.
Sure, especially because there's color.
But there's no way you can change direction like I can, especially in those boots. Get the fuck out of here, man. There's no way.
But a bullet will catch you for sure.
Yeah.
Not that you're gonna run from the cops, right? Not that you're gonna run from the cops. I have. But the thing is, like, that's the thing, right? When you're in trouble, who do you call? A good guy with a gun.
Good guy with a gun.
But if somebody's breaking into your house, if somebody busts in right now, the cops aren't gonna get here in a second. We're dead. We're dead.
Oh, bro, I saw this video yesterday, right? I saw this fucking video yesterday of this. He was like this older white biker dude, right? And he was righteous guy. He was at his high school, his daughters, he has 2 daughters that go to a high school. He was at their PTA meeting. I want you to look this up too after. They were at a PTA meeting, and a PTA meeting, of course, is where all the parents and teachers and faculty they get, and they were talking about gun control and security and things like that. And basically the administration and a lot of the parents, I assume they were liberal left wing, given by the things that they were sprouting out. But he just got fed up with it. He was like, I don't think you guys understand, you know, how fast these real life situations come in. And he asked this kid to come up, and he said, and this kid is there, and everybody's watching him. They're standing in the middle of this room, and mind you, he looks like this dude from Sons of Anarchy. I can't remember his name.
Bobby, the big one?
Bobby. He looked like Bobby from Sons, right? And he had his bandana on, and he goes, what if I decided to attack you right now? It's gonna take, and who's gonna call the cops? And even if somebody calls the cops, it's gonna take them 5 minutes to get here, and to be able to do something about it. Where's security at right now at this very moment? Yep. And then he says, okay, I'm gonna give you another one. He has a pocket knife. He pulls out his pocket knife and he holds it in the air. He goes, okay, now what are you gonna do? If I decided to stab you, yep, and stab 3-4 other people, yep, what are you gonna do now? And in the middle of this, all the parents and all the people are like, okay, they try to stop him, like, okay, you need to stop now, you need to stop. And then this fucking masculine dude was like, hey man, you can't do that, that's illegal. And he's trying to tell him, he's like, you're yelling at me, it's illegal, but if I'm a criminal, what's that gonna do? I'm still gonna be able to. He's trying to make a point. Yeah. And it basically, to me, it showed the disconnect between people in real life dangerous situations. They're not aware of how fast things can happen in the mindset that you go, that panic. They're not used to feeling that adrenaline rush. You know what I mean? And how the scenario can change the way you think, your reaction time, the franticness. It just highlighted that for me too, bro.
That's what I mean, bro. We always like to look at things in hindsight. That's what happens. Oh man, in hindsight, we should have had maybe a security guard at that school. In hindsight, which is crazy to me, bro. Not that I completely agree with teachers having guns. Yeah. But in most of the high schools I went to, there was like a CCSD cop. You know what I mean?
Mine too, man. Mine too. So like I was telling you, it makes me wonder. Like all these people who are yelling and this, I'm like, what type of schools are you guys going to that didn't have a stationed cop from the police department in the district?
Like, all of these shootings are happening in gun-free zones. Come on, bro.
That is true,
Churches, schools. You know what I'm saying? Like all gun-free zones. All gun-free zones. Yeah. It's scary, man, because again, it's the uneducated trying to educate.
Interesting too, bro. Because now I'm on your side. Now I'm gonna spew some statistics that are on your side. Well, not statistics, but I had a really good friend, and his name was Zane Banks, I believe it was, and he was from Alaska. And he came.
Sounds like an Alaskan name.
Yeah.
Zane.
And this dude was palest skin ever. You know, he came and he chewed tobacco. You know, just straight from the woods, man. Straight from the woods. Carried a big ass pocket knife on the back of his belt, and he carried a gun. So when he got to Vegas, and we were living in the dorms, one day he came out. We were all in the courtyard, and they were smoking hookah, drinking or something like that. And he came out in the courtyard with this piece on the side, and everybody was tripping out. Like the RAs and everybody were trying to tell him, like, hey man, we don't know. They were basically scared, and he was dumbfounded. He was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, I can't carry this? And they were like, no, you're on school grounds. And he was like, that's absurd. Like, what do you mean? And then that was the first time I really learned about Alaska and how many people, because everybody in Alaska carries, bro. Everybody.
Yeah.
And
Arizona too.
And what Zane was emphasizing to me is that, bro, nobody thinks about committing any type of crazy crime in Alaska because they know everybody's carrying, and they know if they do some crazy shit, they're gonna get popped instantly.
Bro, absolutely.
And then that was one of his main points. He was like, bro, nobody gets shot in Alaska. Nobody gets shot in Alaska.
And if I could just bring up the problem with gun owners, well, the problem with guns being demonized,
yeah,
is that rifle gun owners get demonized, right? And if I just got to bring up, man, you know, we're in Vegas, and just got to bring up Eric Scott, if I could.
Who the fuck is Eric Scott?
That's the problem.
He's a gun owner that saved somebody.
No, actually, Eric Scott was a righteous dude for one. Doug was a West Point graduate, was an Army veteran, who was just a hero. Was just handsome as all shit too. Just white guy.
Hero.
If you think white guy, that like this is who you think of, right? Just handsome as shit, sharp chin, just incredible guy. Was killed outside of a Costco in Las Vegas by a police officer because he had a concealed weapon on him. Somebody inside the Costco saw him bend down to get a thing of water.
Oh, I heard about this. Go ahead.
Saw the gun on him. Oh my God, he has a gun on him. The Costco employee said, "Sir, you have to leave." This is what I've read. He said, "Sir, you have to leave. You can't have that in here." Being a rifle gun owner, he didn't turn around and say, "What the fuck do you mean?" He started leaving, just walking out, right? Walking out. The police were just told that there was a person with a gun inside. As soon as he came out, he had no idea what was going on. He had no idea what was going on. The cops said, "Freeze." There was no pause in between the freeze
and the
shots that the cops shot him with. Shot him 5 times in the back, 3 times in the front. Dude went down with his hands up. People have testified.
I just want to reiterate that this is a white guy that we're talking about, right? Eric Scott. He's white for all our viewers.
Rest in peace. And bro, literally, like just model citizen, and they killed him. Rifle gun owner. Rifle gun owner, because this is what's happening, bro. We're being demonized.
Yeah, that's ill.
Guns themselves are being demonized. Guns don't kill people, bro. Guns don't kill people.
I would argue guns do kill people.
I have a gun in my car, hasn't killed not one person since we've been here.
I know, but guns do kill people, bro. If you didn't have the gun, you're less likely to kill somebody. Let's put it that way. Oh
my God, you can kill. If you're motivated to kill somebody, you will kill somebody with a knife. You will kill somebody with
Yeah, but it's harder to do.
Of course it is.
That's the thing. That's the whole point, though. It's not that like it's harder to do without a gun. I think that's what we need to stop dancing around. From a gun owner, bro, it's harder to do. Like,
not wrong.
If somebody breaks it, when I thought somebody was breaking into my house, what did I go grab my knife? No, I grabbed my gun.
Of course.
Why did I grab my gun? Because that would be the easiest method to take them out.
Because you're protecting yourselves in your domain.
But I didn't go grab a knife. I didn't run out and start my fucking car and try to run them over with my car.
But if you didn't have a gun, you would have grabbed a knife, no?
Yeah.
And if you didn't have anything, then you would just be a victim.
Yeah, but the fact of it is, the first thing that I grabbed, the first thing I resorted to was my firearm, because that is the easiest method to take them out. Now, if I didn't have the firearm and I grabbed a knife, if they broke in, they might have killed me. They might have killed me.
My argument, man, is like, so what are you arguing for the
that's my argument, though.
Or the rapist or the murderer who's coming into your house?
I'm not arguing for either or. I'm arguing for the fact that when you say guns don't kill people, guns make it easier to kill people, and I think that's where the dialogue comes down to.
Of course, bro. Alcohol kills people.
And when people say that, oh, this person jumped in a car, but the difference between these other items and a knife and all this other shit and a gun is they're multi-purpose items. A car is not built for that. A knife is built for cutting food. A gun is built for one thing and one thing only, is to see a target and to fire something at that target at a extremely high velocity in order to damage it. That's the only thing it's meant for.
It's for protection, bro. It's for hunting.
Well, yeah.
It's for so many other things, and that's the problem, bro. Is that people look at it like it's only for destruction.
It is, bro.
It's for sport.
You can use it for sport.
Bro. That's the problem, though, man. Is that it's being blown out of proportion.
That's like saying if
if we're gonna outlaw guns, let's outlaw Oxycontin. Nah, they make too much money, right? If we're gonna outlaw guns, let's outlaw alcohol. Let's outlaw knives.
They've done that, bro.
Outlaw, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's outlaw all this shit, right? Let's just, and then put people to death as soon as they break this law.
Yeah.
Like, is this where we want to live, bro? In Sharia law, that this is the type of country you want to live in?
I'm triggered, bro.
Bro, like, and that's my argument, man. Just to wrap it up, like. That's my argument, man. I'm always going to be, whether you're left, right, whatever the fuck, whether you're pro-gun, get educated.
Yeah.
That's my argument. My entire thing is just get educated. Get educated. If you want to talk shit, talk shit. But we're in America, bro. There's a reason that there's a fucking Bill of Rights. And again, it's not called the Bill of Needs. It's called the Bill of Rights. Let's read the Constitution. Let's read the Bill of Rights. Let's get educated on not just your history, but American history, on gun history. Let's get educated.
I think the first thing people need to do, the best way to get educated is to go buy one.
That's it, man.
I really can go to the range and shoot it.
That's it.
I mean, because just to wrap it up, like you were saying, how you talk about education. Once again, I was arguing with somebody else on fucking Facebook.
I don't know why you do that.
Because it's fun sometimes. I like saying outlandish shit just because, I got that from you. But, thank you, by the way. But her whole thing was, she posted, I don't see why you need a rifle or any semi-automatic weapon. And the first thing I said to her, I was like, well, were you aware that most semi-automatic weapons are most guns you see? Like a handgun, the guns that you see the cops carry, those are semi-automatic. Unless it's like this is the way I put it to her, unless it's like a old Western, like bolt action rifle or even pistol, long ass revolver, you know what I mean? Which those still fire at a good rate, Yeah, those are still semi. Yeah. So I was like, basically, unless it's a gun you see in an old Western movie, an old rifle.
Bolt action.
Yeah, it's a semi-automatic weapon. And I was like, did you know that? I'm genuinely asking. And she was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, well, see, that's part of the issue is people like someone like yourself means well by your standards, but you're not educated on what you mean. So when you say, I don't want to take away all guns, I just want to take away semi-automatic, someone who's educated and knows about guns takes that as, oh, well, you're literally trying to take away all guns, because you are. You know what I mean? You're trying to take away all automatic, semi-automatic. That's 95% of the guns that you see today.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, and I get fired up, man, because again, man, like it's just, where are we living? You know what I'm saying? Where are we raising our kids in? What are we setting up for our kids? You know, and it's at the very foundation, man. The moral of this story is lack of education.
Yeah.
Lack in anything, drugs, guns, cars, everything. It's a lack of education. People refuse to educate themselves because they're scared that it might change their perspective and it might change their ideology.
But I want to elaborate on what you mean, because I know what you mean by lack of education, but other people don't. Like, for example, before I got a gun, before you took me to the range and fired a gun, in my mind, like when I would see a police officer empty a clip into someone who's charging them, right? My mindset was like, oh, well, well, damn, like, why didn't he just shoot him in the knee? Why didn't he shoot him in the legs? You know? And then I went to the gun range, and then I fired a gun, and I got more familiar with how a gun feels, the bullet trajectory, and I came to realize, like, wow, it's not that simple. And me, I'm no dumb person, man. I can adjust to different things pretty well, whether it's different sports, and I did, I can adjust. But it kind of put that into perspective, like, whoa, if somebody's charging me and my adrenaline is rushing, whether they're breaking into your house or I'm a cop and someone's coming at me with a knife, you know, it's not that easy to just shoot them in the leg, because sometimes you're firing, bro. You don't know if you're hitting them. You don't know if, you know, because they're not dropping. Yeah. So just by going to the range, it kind of opened my perspective a little bit and say, wow, okay, well, I kind of see how, if this cop really was afraid for his life, I can see how he emptied the clip into him, because sometimes you don't know exactly what shot is going to bring them down, because and I think it's surprising too, bro. Like, I don't think people understand, like, how often it is that you can survive a bullet. Like, if you're shot once, you can survive a bullet. Yeah, and I think that you had said it the other day that some people drop because that's what they see in movies. But in actuality, if you get shot, and my uncle's been shot, you know what I mean? If you get shot, a lot of times it takes time for you to realize that you've been shot.
Bro, that adrenaline's
you know?
pumping in your body, so 100%. Unless it's a big caliber 50, 45,
takes your arm off.
Yeah, you're, you know what I mean? It's gonna be, but you can keep going.
You can survive. You can survive one bullet shot like it's nothing.
That's all. You know, that's all I want, man. Just lack of education, man. Just educate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just educate yourself. Even if it's going into a gun store and asking and this and that, because people think that there's this gun show loop and this and that, like, and it's all false. You know, it's what's being projected and fed to us.
Yeah, and you can't buy. When I buy my gun, you can't buy. Most people think, like you're saying, you can just walk anywhere or to a fucking gun show and buy. That's not the case. You have to sit there. You have to fill out this form. You have to wait like 15 minutes for them to run and get the results of your background check back. You know, and the gun is registered in your name, and so they know who you are. It's extensive, man.
And that's what people refuse to do, that or learn that. And until then, bro, it's just gonna keep this vicious cycle.
And that's for a pistol. That's for a handgun.
Education.
Yeah.
I just think people need to get educated. That's all it is. I mean, I'm gonna educate mine. You know, people around me, as much as I possibly could, man. That's all I could do. You know what I mean? As a responsible gun owner, is show other people. Yeah. Just show other people. You know, instead of being that person's like, oh, you don't like guns? Fuck you. It's like, oh man, let me. Are you willing to change your opinion? Yeah. Are you willing to try?
Come to the range and shoot, man.
That's why I was grateful for you, man. Yeah. Because you were willing to be like, all right, cool, yeah, let's go to the range then.
Cause bro, I'm no saint, nigga. Like I've shot BB guns and shit. Like I've always thought shit like that was cool, man. I mean,
the arguments we've had before, you know, have been like, why? Yeah. Why this? Why that? Until you actually got out there, and the best part was that you were able to meet gun owners, responsible gun owners, and really talk to them at the range, at the store, and notice yourself as an African American male that they're not all just a bunch of racists. They're not all just a bunch of crazies.
Hey, one thing's for sure though. I know they all voted for Trump. But that was dope.
Up, man, just get educated, real shit. Yeah, get educated.
Go buy a gun, learn how to take it apart, clean it. Go shoot it. It's the coolest shit ever, man.
If not even that, just go into a gun store and get educated, man.
And also just realize, man, like, you're not meant to be on this earth forever. You're gonna die one day, so stop.
Protect yourself and your family.
So stop being so fucking scared as if you're gonna live forever unless you get shot, because you're gonna die. So I like that, man. That was good. So make sure you tune in. Unfiltered Privilege, Gilbert and Luch, coming to you with that gun control.
Education.
So we'll think of our next topic and we'll get back to you. You guys have a good weekend.